Hello there, lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News, broadcasting live on Topstar Channel 106, Facebook and YouTube and Kenstream app. Here are your news headlines. 2 arrested in connection with fertilizer theft in Lusaka. CAAC demands update on stalled corruption investigations. President HICHILEMA signs book of condolences for late Pope Francis. And in international news, Trump predicts US-China trade deal, hints at diplomatic meetings during Rome visit. And in sports, Copper Princesses gift CHISHA ages clinical finishing ahead of crucial BENIN clash. Join us for these and many more stories after the break. To present Camnet TV Main News in detail, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. 2 suspects have been arrested in connection with a break-in and theft at the Export Trading Group (ETG) warehouse in Lusaka's Chinika industrial area, where 366 bags of urea fertilizer were stolen. The arrests follow a tip-off received by police after the incident, which occurred between 18 hours on April 20th and 06 hours on April 21st, 2025. Police Assistant Public Relations Officer Godfrey Chilabi says the first suspect, 47-year-old Sidney Luma of Kanyama compound, was apprehended in Lusaka and is believed to have been one of the drivers who transported the stolen fertilizer using a white man truck, registration number BAR 6490. Mr. Chilabi adds that following his arrest, Mr. Muma led officers to Mumba district, where the stolen fertilizer had been delivered, where police apprehended 38-year-old Andrew Hamunji, a local businessman engaged in agro-related activities, and was found in possession of the entire consignment of 366 bags of fertilizer, each weighing 50 kilograms and branded with ETG logo.
Following a report of breaking into a building and committing a felony therein at the Export Trading Group (ETG) company warehouse in Lusaka, which occurred between 18 hours on April 20, 2025 and 06 hours on April 21, 2025 in Chinika industrial area, Lusaka, police have apprehended 2 suspects in connection with the incident and recovered 366 bags of fertilizer. Police received a tip-off that led to the apprehension of Sidney Muma, a 47-year-old from Kanyama compound. He is believed to be one of the drivers who transported the fertilizer from the warehouse using a white man truck, registration number BAR 6490. Upon interrogation, the suspect led officers to Mumbwa, where the fertilizer was delivered. In Mumbwa, officers apprehended a second suspect, Andrew Hamunji, age 38, from Mumbwa district. Hamunji, a businessman involved in agro-related activities, was found in possession of 366 bags of urea fertilizer, each weighing 50 kilograms, and packed in ETG branded bags which have since been recovered. The vehicle used in the transportation of the stolen goods has since been impounded, and both suspects are currently in police custody. Investigations into this matter have since been intensified.
From Mumba to Lusaka's Woodlands area, where opposing Democratic Party has called on the government to ensure that the proposed constitutional amendment bill, once tabled in Parliament, explicitly outlines the number of women to be nominated to the House. Speaking at the media briefing earlier today, Party President Judith Nkonge emphasized that while the current constitution includes provisions for the proportional representation of women, youth, and persons with disabilities, these clauses are not binding and remain at the president's discretion. Mrs. Nkonge underscored the importance of mandating such representation, citing the underrepresentation of marginalized groups in the leadership roles. She stated that enshrining these measures in law would significantly advance inclusivity and equity in governance. The opposition leader also cautioned against dismissing the current constitutional amendment proposals based on the shortcomings of the previous rejected Bill 10. She noted that the current proposals are, in their entirety, progressive and beneficial for the country's democratic development.
Members of the press, my major thrust today is to discuss the proposed amendments that address the issues that have to do with the marginalized in society, the women and the youths. When you look at myself and my two beautiful ladies here and the ladies that are seated there in the fourth estate, we are all affected. It may look simple today because maybe you are sitting at a certain angle and you don't see the importance of this matter. But a time will come when you will decide, when you will believe in yourself, and then you find that there are no opportunities, there are no laws that should be able to catapult you to where you're supposed to go. Therefore, it is important for us to look at this matter with a sober mind, with a critical mind, and make sure that we do the best for ourselves, for our children, and our children's children. In Article 68, of the current Constitution, the President of the Republic of Zambia has powers to nominate up to 8 members of Parliament.
The Community Action Against Corruption, CAAC, has demanded that the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, provide an official update on a series of high-profile corruption investigations it previously announced, warning that continued silence only fuels public mistrust and suspicion. CAAC Chief Executive Officer Brighton Tembo says the ACC must inform Zambians about the progress made on 6 major cases that remain unresolved over a year since they were brought to public attention. Mr. Tembo specifically cited investigations into several ministries and top government officials, including cabinet ministers and the Solicitor General.
We wish to challenge the Anti-Corruption Commission to state its position on the 2 previous Financial Intelligence Center reports, the one for 2023 and the other one for 2024, to which the Anti-Corruption Commission has opted to remain mute, and it's close to 2 years without any update concerning these two reports, which is not okay, because corruption fight demands transparency and accountability in terms of information dissemination. So the Anti-Corruption Commission cannot afford to keep quiet on these two important reports. Then we also demand from the Anti-Corruption Commission to update Zambians on the corruption cases which they announced that they were investigating. For example, the scandal at the Ministry of Finance, the investigations concerning the Solicitor General, investigations concerning cabinet ministers, investigations concerning ZAMSA, the investigations on the Ministry of Defense scandal, where it is believed that some officers and some people received kickbacks from a Kenyan company. So these updates are very much important to give Zambians a chance to be up to the pace concerning where the direction of corruption fight in Zambia today. Then we can also request the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, as well as the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Ministry of Health, to explain the reasons why they have failed to terminate the contract of the purchase of 156 ambulances under CDF when the supplier has failed to deliver in time.
Economist Musiani Monga has observed that the maintenance of the inflation rate is unlikely to result in an immediate reduction in the prices of commodities on the market. In an interview with Camnet News, Ms. Monga explained that while a stable inflation rate may provide some temporary economic relief, significant price drops will require sustained interventions in time. She acknowledged, however, that the current inflation stability does offer some short-term benefits for the public, particularly in enabling better financial planning for households and businesses. Ms. Monga also pointed out that the stability was expected given the prevailing trend in inflation rates over recent months. Zambia's annual inflation rate for April 2025 has remained unchanged at 16.5%, the same level recorded in March, according to the Zambia Statistics Agency, ZAMSTATS.
That the inflation rate has not increased, which is very different from what we've been going through in the past few months. But then if we look at the trajectory of the previous few months, we see that the inflation rate was increasing, but it was increasing at a decreasing rate. So for me, it's not surprising to see that the inflation rate is at the moment constant, but we hope to see that in the coming months, the inflation rate continues to improve and remain constant. So this is very good for Zambian businesses, and not only Zambian businesses, but also for a direct investment, because it helps people plan for their investments. When they're able to know that the inflation rate is at this percentage, it's easier for you to plan how to invest your money. So then it's better for small businesses in Zambia and also the large businesses. And it's also good for the normal citizens, us that are not business people, because if business people are able to plan better, they're able to set prices, and you won't have fluctuations in the market. When you're going to buy eggs today, you find them at 50 kwacha, tomorrow you find them at 60 kwacha. That's not going to be very common if the inflation rate is constant. To put it bluntly, I would say that the likelihood of the prices reducing is not very high. But then what you would see is that the prices will remain constant. And if prices remain constant and people are able to invest in their businesses, then they'll be able to afford the prices that are currently there. But then seeing the prices going down, that would take some serious government intervention, maybe with subsidies and whatnot. But then it's highly unlikely to see that market prices go down.
The Zambia Council for Social Development, ZCSD, has called on the government to reassess How Constituency Development Fund (CDF) allocations are determined, urging a more tailored approach based on each constituency's capacity to effectively utilize the funds for development. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, ZCSD Executive Director Leah Mitawa says it is not necessary for all constituencies to receive uniform allocations such as the current 36.1 million kwacha, as some areas have fewer development needs than others. Ms. Mitawa also emphasized the importance of conducting feasibility assessments before implementing any proposed constitutional amendments related to delimitation, especially if such changes will result in increased CDF allocations.
Once we do understand, and I think through the ERTC report, we've seen that there are some recommendations from some sections of society that are recommending for Zambia to actually increase the number of constituencies, or rather, the bigger constituencies try to divide them into 2 or 3. As the Zambia Council for Social Development was saying that this should not be done in the context of not having a feasibility assessment. That should be number one. And because any decision that we make has got financial considerations, and at the moment, if you ask the Zambia Council for Social Development, we are saying that is it the right time to strain the national budget? So we have a national budget at the moment that cannot meet the current needs. So we need to do a financial feasibility assessment to assess how much will be required. How much does it cost to actually run or support a constituency in terms of staffing levels, in terms of logistics, administration? So I think the government really needs to take this with a little bit of caution. Of course, our direction and our recommendation to government has always been that government needs to strengthen the role of the local authorities. And if you look at our decentralization direction and plan, which was launched by the president, in the HICHILEMA, it did speak to the need to decentralize and devolve some of the functions of central government to the lower levels. And I think this is an opportunity for CDF to actually be taken to the local authorities. So the direction I would suggest would be to strengthen the role of the local authorities, the capacities, so that they are able to better administer CDF.
The Department of Immigration has apprehended 45 individuals for suspected immigration offenses during a coordinated operation conducted across several parts of Lusaka on April 22nd, 2025. The operation, which began in the early hours and continued into the late afternoon, targeted areas such as Kanyama, Matero, Chunga, Garden, Chululu, Mtendere, Kalingalinga, Chamba Valley, and Mutumbi. Immigration Public Relations Officer Namatin Shinka says the apprehended individuals included 43 males and 2 females. He disclosed that similar operations were conducted in other parts of the country on the same day, resulting in 28 convictions for various immigration offenses. Meanwhile, the department has also apprehended 26 individuals of various nationalities, deported 1 Congolese national, removed 18 people from the country, and refused entry to 9 others who failed to meet immigration requirements.
The Department of Immigration wishes to inform the general public that it successfully conducted an operation on 22nd April 2025, which was aimed at removing individuals residing illegally in Zambia. The operation, which began in the early hours of Tuesday and continued until late afternoon, covered several areas in Lusaka, including Kanyama, Matero, Chunga, Garden, Chilulu, Mtendere, Kalingalinga, Chamba Valley, and Mutumbi. During the operation, a total of 45 individuals comprising 43 males and 2 females were apprehended and are currently being screened. The breakdown of the nationalities is as follows: 25 Burundians, 13 Congolese, 3 Zambians, 2 Rwandese, 1 Malawian, and 1 Tanzanian. Elsewhere around the country, the department on 22nd April 2025 secured 28 convictions, apprehended 26 persons of different nationalities for various immigration offenses, effected 1 deportation of Congolese national, removed 18 persons from the country and refused entry to 9 persons for failing to meet entry requirements. The Department of Immigration wishes to call upon members of the public to collaborate and work hand in hand with immigration officers to ensure that all foreign nationals in Zambia have the requisite documentation and are legally residing in the country. Further, would like to issue a stern warning to citizens who aid or harbor illegal immigrants that they risk facing the full wrath of the law.
Republican President HICHILEMA has signed the Book of Condolences at the Embassy of the Vatican City in Lusaka. This follows the passing of Pope Francis, Pontiff of the Roman Catholic Church, who died on Monday, 21st April 2025. Upon arrival, President HICHILEMA was received by Apostolic Nuncio to Zambia and Malawi Archbishop Gianluca Peresi before proceeding to pen his message of condolences in honor of the late Pope. President HICHILEMA was accompanied by Secretary of Cabinet Patrick Kangwa and other senior government officials from State House. The funeral mass for the Pope Francis is scheduled for Saturday, 26 April 2025 in Vatican City. President HICHILEMA has since delegated a high-level delegation to represent Zambia at the funeral. The delegation includes Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Mulambo Haimbe, Minister of Infrastructure and Urban Development Charles Milupi, and a group of Catholic bishops.
Of his illness for some time, and we all believe that he will get better. So Pope Francis, he takes him around Easter at holy time. That's the way God works. God was the good man. A man of peace, a man of fairness. A man of fairness, a man of humble understanding of that. He reached out to Sudanese, he reached out to Russians, to the Ukrainians, he reached out to everybody in the world who needed support. We would like to mourn the Holy Father together with the Church, Nuncio, the Church, Catholic Church, God of Christ here, the whole country. We discussed on the phone our four-man delegation representing the President and Zambia left last night for the Vatican to attend the funeral.
The Zambia Development Agency, in collaboration with the National Pension Scheme Authority, NAPSA, has embarked on a strategic partnership aimed at enhancing investment promotion and attracting sustainable investments into the country. The alliance is expected to leverage ZDA's role as the country's lead investment promotion agency and NAPSA's position as a major domestic investor and fund manager. This promising collaboration was cemented when ZDA Director General Albert Halwampa and his team paid a courtesy call to NAPSA Director General Muyangwa at the authority's headquarters in Lusaka. During the engagement, the two leaders agreed to establish a formal partnership underpinned by a structured framework with clearly defined objectives and shared expectations. As part of the joint efforts, Mr. Halwampa extended an invitation to NAPSA to actively participate in the inaugural Investment Zambia International Conference, which is scheduled to take place from July 16th to 18th, 2025 at the Mulungushi International Conference Center, Kenneth Kaunda Wing in Lusaka. The conference is hosted under the auspices of President and aims to become an annual cornerstone event on Zambia's investment calendar. Moving on, and in tourism news, Minister of Tourism Rodney Sikumba has reaffirmed the government's commitment supporting the construction of cultural museums across the country as a way of preserving Zambia's rich cultural heritage. Speaking during the Okusefya Pangwena fundraising dinner held yesterday, Mr. Sikumba emphasized the importance of establishing cultural sites where both locals and tourists can reconnect with the country's diverse traditions and historical narratives. He noted that many ethnic groups in Zambia have unique customs and histories that deserve to be showcased through permanent, accessible institutions. Meanwhile, Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Chipoka Mlenga, who graced the event as guest of honor, called on the private sector to continue supporting traditional ceremonies across the country. He encouraged businesses to remain steadfast in contributing to the preservation of Zambia's cultural identity. And His Royal Highness Chief Mwinelu Wemba Chitimukulu Kanyantamanga II, represented by Chief Luchembe, announced that this year's Okusefya Pangwena traditional ceremony will take place from 7th to 9th August 2025. The fundraising dinner also saw several pledges of financial support, including 150,000 kwacha contribution from Zamaco to aid in the successful hosting of the ceremony.
Traditional ceremonies have shown us an opportunity where we can unite nations, which we have. From the time that we got into office as the UPNP, we have supported over, and I want to indicate, over 72 traditional ceremonies dotted across the country. And of those 72, my president, your president, Mr. HICHILEMA, has attended not almost, I have to have an absolute number. He has attended 30 of those traditional ceremonies, including Okusefya Pangwena.
It is quite encouraging what fundraising towards hosting of our cultural heritage. Ichilema ngokuba tulutambile twalira nabana mfyalwa tabaka lubeyo. And it is very important that we also take seriously amashuri that came from the chairperson wonderful group of setting up a museum. The Minister of Tourism has been very strong on bringing something that was not there before to existence. This motivation and inspiration keeps coming from His Excellency, who has been very strong on making sure that all the chiefs across the country are meeting in one place whenever we have got events like this and the Okusefya Pangwena, which is yet to come.
We look forward to welcoming you at Ngwena Village National Monument. Lastly, let me thank the individuals and institutions that have made today's event possible. In the name of Chitimukulu Kanyanta Mwinelu and in my name as Chief Luchembe.
Last year alone, Zanaco contributed significantly to sponsoring of various traditional ceremonies across the nation, including the Okusefya Pangwena ceremony. Our total spend was 1.355 million. We have spent 440,249 kwacha between January 2025 to date, demonstrating our commitment to supporting culture. This year, we are giving you 150,000 kwacha for the Okusefya Pangwena.
Zambia Sugar has officially launched its sexual harassment policy aimed at enhancing regulations that prescribe conduct at the workplace, extending to all contacts and dealings related to the company. The launch took place at an event held at the company's estate in Nakambala Wednesday morning, coinciding with April, which is globally dubbed as the Sexual Harassment Awareness Month. Speaking during the event, Zambia Sugar Human Resource Director Sharon Lima noted that the company already had regulations relating to sexual aggravation under its anti-harassment policy. Ms. Lima, however, stated that in a continued quest to make Zambia Sugar a safe and healthy working environment, management decided to develop an independent policy covering sexual harassment. She added that no employee should be discriminated against or harassed based on attributes such as choice of attire. Meanwhile, Zambia Sugar Director of Finance, Hezron Musonda, re-echoed the company's commitment in creating psychologically and physically safe working space. And that particular story takes us to our first set of commercials. But do remember that we're now broadcasting live on Topstar Channel 106, Facebook, YouTube, and on the Kenstream app. Join us after this break.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms, Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodland, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Welcome back. We continue with Camnet main news. And now in international news, where US President Donald Trump on Wednesday expressed optimism about reaching a fair trade agreement with China, telling reporters during a briefing in the Oval Office that relations between the two global powers are on track to improve. His remarks come just a day after he signaled a softer approach toward trade tensions with Benin, stating he would not play hardball and suggesting that tariffs imposed by the U.S. could be reduced substantially if a deal is reached. However, Trump maintained that the United States remains the option to enforce tariffs should negotiations fail. Here's a roundup of international stories.
The U.S. President Donald Trump continued to predict Wednesday that the U.S. and China will reach a fair trade deal in the coming weeks, telling reporters that they will get great along with China. Trump had put 145 tariffs on imports from China.
United States. No, I haven't brought it down. I haven't brought it still 145. I haven't brought it down. I said it's a high tariff. It is a high tariff, but I haven't brought it down. It basically means China's not doing any business with us, essentially, because it's a very high number. So when you add that to the price of a product, a lot of those products aren't going to sell. But we get along. I get along very well with President Xi, and I hope we can make a deal. Otherwise, we'll set a price, and hopefully they'll come here and they'll contribute. And if they don't, that's okay.
Meanwhile, China denied Thursday that U.S. President Donald Trump's assertion that the two sides were involved in active negotiations over tariffs. The sub-Saharan Africa's economy is showing signs of resilience, with growth projected to hit 3.5% in 2025 and rise to 4.3% by 2027, according to the World Bank's latest Africa's Pulse report. This recovery is being driven by rising private consumption and investment, alongside falling inflation, down from 7.1% in 2023 to 4.5% in 2024, and more stable currencies. Despite this progress, the region still faces steep challenges. Real income per capita is expected to remain 2% below 2015 levels in 2025, and poverty reduction is lagging. Countries grappling with conflict and heavy reliance on natural resources are growing slower than more diversified economies. Job creation also remains too weak to meet the needs of Africa's fast-growing youth population.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is cutting short his state visit to South Africa after deadly Russian missile and drone strikes hit Kyiv overnight. 9 people were killed and more than 60 injured, including children, in what Ukrainian officials called one of the most intense attacks in weeks. Zelensky had just arrived Wednesday evening amid renewed criticism from former US President Donald Trump, who accused him of prolonging the war by refusing to cede Crimea to Russia. Zelensky was expected to meet with President Cyril Ramaphosa to discuss cooperation and peace efforts. Ramaphosa has tried to position himself as a mediator, citing ties with Russia through BRICS. But Zelensky has questioned Russia's intentions, saying a so-called Easter ceasefire was never honored as attacks continued.
And finally, in sports news, Copper Princess's utility player Gift CHISHA has emphasized the need for great efficiency in front of goal as Zambia prepares for a decisive encounter against Benin in the second leg of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifier. CHISHA, who is capable of playing both in defense and midfield, highlighted the importance of converting chances when the two sides meet in Lome on Saturday. Zambia heads into the return leg with a narrow 2-1 lead from the first leg. The aggregate win of the tie will secure a converted spot at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup Morocco 2025, scheduled for October. With the high stakes in play, CHISHA expressed confidence in her team's preparation and determination to deliver a strong performance.
Training yari ilienda shebu Nilizosenza pa ma mistakes etina panga last game yenze kopa Saturday. In terms of recovery, shooting nakumbuye kuja ngati taluzinga bola kondo shitaka cover mzatu kuja kumbuye. Weather yakuno ili hot niko kupya maningi kaidi chechina wa mancha uti tinabwera fast. So mwita trainer lero by the time tifika pa Saturday nish weather inotaija. In terms of shooting, my midfielder joining, but striker kuja na bola joining, then my defenders mzatu ngati ndo sta attack then tifunika tabwe pamoja tankala pompa kuti bora isapiti pakati ine ni first time yanga nza kala kwenda kwa World Cup, so idachinja ko life yanga kai kuja kwetienda stiza oya titamba so ingachinjeko in the future maybe bagani tengeko kai sitima zawe yatamba then ama parents kunyumba kuja it may ingachinjeko. What we can promise as for now, game we stay up Saturday. As for now, it's 7 my mistakes. My mistakes are 7 hapa tizayashta cover then kuja tienda kumwesa. What we can promise as for now, timwesa magozi yetina shtanan kana hapa because tenzo mwesa magozi ya mbili then hapa tufuniko mwesa magozi ya mbili then yetina mwesa kuzambia.
That sporting item brings us to the end of this edition of Main News on Camnet TV. But before we go, let's take a look at the top stories. 2 arrested in connection with fertilizer theft in Lusaka. CAAC demands update on stored corruption investigations. President HICHILEMA signs book of condolences for late Pope Francis. In international news, Trump predicts US-China trade deal, hints at diplomatic meetings during Rome visit. In sports, Copper Princesses gift CHISHA edges clinical finishing ahead of crucial Benin clash. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Romans chapter 6 verse 14. It reads, "For sin shall not have dominion over you, for ye are not under the law, but under grace." We end the main news, and dear viewer, do remember that Camnet TV is now broadcasting live on Topstar channel 106, Facebook, YouTube, and Kenstream as Camnet TV. Now also remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel. Now on behalf of the entire production team, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Good evening and God bless.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.